The priest is the custodian of the Holy Eucharist. That's my responsibility to protect and preserve the Holy Eucharist as a pastor.
Was a small town in Oklahoma that was decimated by a direct hit from a tornado overnight. That would be Barnsdall, Oklahoma. It's about 40 miles outside of Tulsa.
Just over 1,000 people, 30 to 40 homes are destroyed.
So certainly a close-knit town. And also the damage in the small town determining the EF4 rating for this tornado.
At the wake of the tornado, the sanctuary wasn't touched. But the wind did enter here.
This church was built 85 years ago by my grandpa and my dad and all my uncles. My mother and dad, you know, they brought us here our whole lives, and this is home.
On the 5th of May, I had Mass here by 11:30 in the morning. That night was a little bit windy, but I didn't expect anything out of the ordinary. And so when you get a call from one of your parishioners early in the morning, you know that something is wrong.
It was probably about 6:30. Before I entered the church, before I even parked my car, that's when I called Father and I said, "Oh, Father," you know, I tried to describe.
You know, he couldn't really explain to me. He said, "Father," he was emotional. And so I said, "Okay, Jack, I'll be there in the next couple of minutes." So I quickly, hopped into my car and drove down to Barnsdall. A lot of things were going in my mind. Is my church standing? I hope my parishioners are safe. And so when I got into Barnsdall, oh my goodness, I saw the level of devastation. It was overwhelming.
It absolutely took your breath. You came into Barnsdall over the bridge. I sat in the car and cried. It looked like a bomb had gone off.
Well, the first thing I thought was the church is still here.
The church is here, it's standing.
The tornado just went straight over it. I mean, dead center, the eye of the tornado. I saw Father Nduka standing in the parking lot, just staring at the church.
My whole focus was on the Holy Eucharist. Jack, my parishioner, was outside waiting for me. So both of us entered into the church. It was difficult, what I saw. It was a total mess until it got in front of the altar and went sideways. The tabernacle was still intact. The candles were still standing.
You just stand in awe when you see the altar. As we left it Sunday, they weren't covered with any debris or anything. It was just as it sits today, and that was the candle that was still lit.
That wind, 166 to 200 miles per hour, entered into this church. Man, think of it. It's huge. The only explanation is that God really proved his presence. And so I knelt down and adored the Lord in the Holy Eucharist. It was spontaneous. Seeing what happened. As a man of faith, that's the only way I could express my belief in the real presence. Even as a priest, moments like that it's important for us to understand, what God can do for us.
It's hard to describe. It's just overwhelming when you see this, and it's just a little overwhelming, so.
We call it the living flame for a reason. The living flame represents the living presence of Christ. For that living flame to still be burning in the face of such devastation was the flicker of hope that God, truly was in the midst of the storm.
God had his hand on our altar, our front of our church, our beautiful statues, and to know that our eternal flame was still burning. I don't know, it was a miracle.
As they're coming into this disaster, everyone's immediately sharing this positive, beautiful story. God had preserved the Blessed Sacrament in the altar in the midst of this chaos. And I think that just continually was a touch point for people throughout the whole day, that here is the peace that God has given us, what can we do next? There were so many good volunteers. We had people coming in, boarding up windows and crawling on the roof. I really wanted to make sure that these people know we are here for you.
Everything I requested from the diocese was given to me. The bishop is there for you. The diocese is there for you. So if anything happens to your parish, you're not going to be left alone. And that shows you, my dear friend, the interest and the support from different parishes of our diocese.
One of the first words Father said to me was, "We're going to have church here on Sunday."
He looked at me. Are you kidding me?
I think it was the thing that allowed them to quickly find hope.
To see it, even though it was tattered, even though the windows were boarded up, it was our church. I didn't think I was ever going to get to come back to my little church.
This is part of my home, part of my heart. I'm just really thankful, very, very thankful that it's here and we continue to get to serve the Lord here.
We're not alone. He's always true to his promise. God is with us. We shall emerge stronger and better.